Ron and Lenore Scott, our founding ministers, asked Bob and myself to look for the land since the search so far had not been fruitful. For 3 months, we scouted the area's proximity to our current location. After all his research, Bob finally saw a small for sale sign on a broken down gate about a half a mile from the church's current site.
On the other side of the gate was a magnificent 14-acre goat farm filled with some 280 oak trees. After making an appointment with the owner, I admonished Lenore not to get too excited because that jacks up the price. She blew it and went bananas over the beauty. I negotiated a purchase contract with the owner, Godfrey O'Donnell, whose initials incidentally were G-O-D, that's God. We needed a magnificent entry to glorify the church complex. I visually created an arch spanning some 100 feet from base to base, which I dedicated to my loving parents. The arch provides a welcome landmark for all in need of UCOH's tender, loving care.
After our church property was acquired, there were several months of planning before construction on our new church home would begin. The grass was growing taller on our 14 acres. Mills and I had a neighbor who had several head of cattle. We asked him if he would bring a few cows here to pasture. He agreed, and the 4 cows were very happy to be here. When the contractors were ready to begin, the cows had to be picked up. When the owner arrived, cows being cows, they very obediently got onto the trailer and returned to their old home. What no one knew was there had been a calf born, and he had hunkered down somewhere on the back of the property, and he was left behind. Well, the calf began to cry for his mom, and one of our neighbors called our ministers, who discovered the owner had gone on an overnight hunting trip and could not be reached. Well, our ministers, Ron and Lenore Scott, went into action. They brought pasteurized milk, hoping the calf would drink the milk and be okay until his owner arrived. As soon as the Scott's car came onto the property, the calf came to their car, and as hard as they tried to feed that little fellow, some of the milk went in him and some of it all over Lenore. Lenore very lovingly named him Beauty. He was soon reunited with his mom and had a great story to tell her about the city slickers who came to feed him and how they took very good care of him.
We were all volunteering on the construction of our new church. Someone was up here all the time. As the time approached for the floor covering to be installed, I spoke with my brother Don, who was involved in a Baptist church. He told me that their minister had them write Bible passages on the floor before installing new carpet, so that they might literally and figuratively be standing on the Word of God. I met with Reverend Ron Scott and told him this story. He really liked the idea and announced it to the congregation. The church got probably 50 broad-tipped permanent marking pens and encouraged the congregation to go to the church and write inspirational passages on the floor, be it from the Bible, A Course in Miracles, poetry, song lyrics, or whatever resonated with them to lift them to a higher spiritual place in their hearts. Under this carpet and tiles, the floor is filled with hundreds of quotes. Beneath the place where I usually sat for the service, I wrote, "And God saw everything that was made, and behold, it was very good." And it was, and it continues to be so.